Ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to be a nurse. But working in the neurological department was very stressful. But it was also very rewarding. Woody was my most rewarding patient, because his recovery happened so fast. He was also my favorite person. Your eye exam shows that you needed glasses, Mr. Jackson. And I would like to say that they look very nice on you.
Thanks.
I'm very sorry about your friend in the car. That was a very tragic accident.
He was strictly just a business contact and not a friend. But his death was a big setback for me financially.
You have your health, Mr. Jackson. You survived the accident remarkably well, which is why the doctors gave you a release after only 6 days. Excuse us, sir. My patient is checking out and he needs to sign a release form.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. My gosh, that is a big bruise you have there on your head. Did you suffer a concussion?
Yes, I did.
I hope your recovery went well.
Mr. Jackson's recovery went remarkably well.
That is interesting, and more so, very coincidental. Excuse me for sounding a little abrupt and nosy. My name is Professor Vernon Klinkenbeard, and believe it or not, I am here as part of an investigation of military and post-concussion treatments of Vietnam veterans. I would like to ask your nurse here a few questions if she has a moment. May I ask your name, young lady, and are you from the neurological department?
My name is Sally Unfried and, yes, I am a nurse in the neurological department. If you are investigating concussion patients, maybe you should talk to my patient here, Woodrow Jackson. He is a private investigator and with a concussion to boot. Were you in Vietnam, Mr. Jackson?
No, Korea was my war, but I was never called up.
Well then, we appear to be two investigators with something very much in common. But I would like to think of myself as a public investigator. I'm trying to make my investigation as public as possible. So what were you investigating, Mr. Jackson? Do you have a specialty?
I was working exclusively on a missing persons case until the car accident brought it to an abrupt halt.
I am doing a missing persons investigation of sorts myself, in association with the University of California at Berkeley. What sort of missing persons case were you involved in?
A Vietnam veteran.
Well, this is getting more interesting by the minute. Is it possible that this veteran was a concussion patient and treated in an Army hospital in Vietnam?
He was treated in an Army hospital and given a medical discharge. I'm not too sure about the medical details. I was just asked to find him.
Well, Detective Jackson, this is very intriguing and is beginning to sound like something we need to explore in depth. Since you are being discharged and appear to be in good health, how about coming out to my beach house? You can relax and absorb the spring sunshine, and we can explore all of this further. How's that sound to you?
What, today?
Yes, why not? And how about you, Nurse Sally Unfried? Are you getting off duty anytime soon?
I'm getting off duty in 30 minutes and I would just love to visit your beach house. I don't know if I have much information about Vietnam veterans to give you though. But a beach house sounds like fun. Don't you think so, Mr. Jackson?
Yeah, sure.
Well, that's great. I'll get my car and we'll wait for you in the lot out front, Miss Sally Unfried. I can finish my work here later. If one has a good lead, best to follow through on it quickly. Right, Mr. Jackson?
Make haste, the better foot forward.
That's Shakespeare, isn't it?
I guess so. Are you really a college professor? Do you have some kind of ID on you? And where's this beach house anyway?
Come on, Mr. Jackson. He sounds like a real college professor to me. Don't be such a spoiled sport. It will be good for your recovery. This is going to be fun. I will see you two gentlemen in the front parking lot in 30 minutes. Don't leave without me. Isn't this house great? Look at the ocean and the big blue sky.
Yeah, this isn't too bad.
You should get yourself a beach house too, Mr. Jackson.
I wonder where he got the money for this.
He's a professor. I'm sure he makes lots of money.
Well, I hope you're getting comfortable enjoying the beautiful sunshine. Have yourself some lemonade.
I should have brought my bikini.
I thank you for bringing us out here, Professor Clinkenbeard. I really needed this.
I should probably give you two more details about myself and why I thought it was important to bring you out here away from the hospital and the city. I am a biological engineering professor at UC Berkeley, and outside of my classes, my current passion is an investigation.
Professor Clinkenbeard went on to explain to us that he was searching for veterans who had been treated for concussions in Vietnam with some sort of new serum or something. He said that if they took LSD, that they would have severe hallucinations that would seem completely real to them. This sounded horrible to me. He said he was also looking for nurses who might have treated these combat veterans. The professor said that there was a big government conspiracy and cover-up behind it. But Woody did not buy the big government conspiracy and cover-up stuff. He said that he had learned a lot of things in the private investigation business, and one big thing was, most people couldn't keep a secret for very long. Woody said that with a few drinks in them, and a beautiful blonde by their side, they would give up every secret they ever had. I thought this was kind of funny. But I was a big believer in government conspiracies, and Woody was wrong about that. Then, the professor told us that we needed to come down to the Navy docks with him, so he could show us something very important. But Woody didn't want to go. He said he needed to get back to his office and fix his business, because he had no money coming in. He also sounded to me like he thought Professor Clinkenbeard was a little crazy. But he needed to go down to the Navy docks with the professor and see what he had to show him. So, I set Woody straight. Come with us, Woody. Mr. Jackson, aren't you supposed to be a brave detective investigator? I'm sure Sherlock Holmes would come with us. If he were alive.
If he were alive?
That's right. And what about all those people who read about his bold detective adventures? They were more than just stories made up by someone sitting around at a desk somewhere in England. You know.
Well, I know. All right. Who could argue with that? I'll go. Well, I wouldn't want to let down the immortal Sherlock Holmes of Baker Street, or Sally the nurse from San Francisco General.
All right then. Shall we go?
I should have brought my bikini.
Next time Angela will set you up with one of hers. You can try on a few and pick the one that you like. I would just love to see the one that you choose.
Someone should arrest that crazy old man. Woody Jackson, Act 2, Scene 2. Okay, Professor Klinkenbeard, what exactly is it that you want us to see?
This area up until recently was a high-security military facility, but now it is practically abandoned. There isn't even a military police presence or an armed military guard around to protect it. If someone were trying to break in, the San Francisco Police Department would be called. The last remaining destroyer is scheduled for departure next week.
And your point is?
Yeah, I'm kind of missing it, also.
My point is that this was once a bustling military operation, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And now that it's being abandoned, there's never been an explanation for its existence. There has never, to my knowledge, been a government press release, a newspaper story, or even a helicopter flyover by a local TV news. It was a secret operation right in the center of a harbor in a major American city.
Looks to me like 5 empty buildings, probably used for storage and shipping to overseas locations, guarded by a Navy man counting his days toward retirement. There's a war going on, you know, and they need supplies.
A war that is now bigger than ever. And when did they stop needing supplies? The fact is, Detective Jackson, this was never a supply depot. Nothing of major volume came in or left here. There was never once a supply ship recorded to have docked here. It was serviced entirely by destroyers and an occasional cruiser. There was something of major importance going on in these 5 buildings, and it didn't involve heavy supplies.
You mean it's a government conspiracy and cover-up?
Of course. What else could it be?
That is so cool. I just love conspiracies.
Okay, Mr. Klinkenbeard, it's time for me to go. I came, I saw, now it's time for me to leave. Just run me back to my office, or better yet, drop me off at the Empire Jazz Club. I'm in critical need of a few drinks and a beautiful blonde by my side. And don't worry about me revealing your big secret, 'cause I sure don't know what it is, Klinkenbeard.
Come on, Woody. He's Professor Klinkenbeard. I think this is a very weirdo place, and someone needs to investigate it. Or something.
That's right, Mr. Jackson. And it's Berkeley Professor Vernon J. Klinkenbeard to you.
I really like that name. I think it's very groovy sounding.
I really love your name too, Sally Unfried, especially when it has the word nurse at the front of it. That is really and truly a beautiful profession. A profession that, when I think deeply about it, brings endless tears to my eyes.
Drop me off at the Empire Jazz Club, Klinkenbeard.
And so, Professor Klinkenbeard drove Woody to his jazz club, and then he drove me home. I spent the rest of the day and evening thinking about the events of the day, especially our trip to the Navy docks. There were some things that I needed to sort through in my mind. Alone.
What's it to you? You seem surprised to find me here out with some guy. You said we were through. Baby, what's it to you? What's it to you? Why so concerned? Isn't that rare? Right up till now, you didn't care. Some people do. Baby, what's it to you? You said the world was calling and tossed me over the side. What did you care that I was falling. What did you know of how hard I cried?
What are you drinking, Woody?
I'm having the lemonade with a shot of vodka. I think I've developed a taste for lemonade for some reason.
Okay, Woody. Enjoy the music.
Well, I've got
And
things to do.
your drink.
Tell me, what's it to you? You said the world was calling and tossed me over the side.
My bounty is as boundless as the sea. My love is deep, the more I give to thee.
Yikes!
What's the matter, Woody? Something wrong with your drink?
No, nothing. Wait a minute. Yes, there is. You put LSD in my drink.
Actually, the bartender did it. LSD is what's happening now. Get with it, old man. This is a jazz club. Jazz clubs and drugs go together, like love and cheating on your wife. Just settle down, Woody honey. And remember, most of the patrons who sit here every night are probably high on jazz, or pot, or LSD. Relax, and enjoy the music, honey love. And remember, I can get you more.
Hello?
Hello, Woody. This is Sally.
Sally?
Nurse Sally Unfried.
Oh, of course. Hello, Sally.
I was just calling to see how you were.
Oh, I'm nursing a little bit of a hangover this morning, nurse.
That's not good. As your nurse, I would suggest you stay away from alcohol. And don't forget about your checkup next week.
Will you be there?
No, Woody, unfortunately. Your checkup won't take place in the main building where I work. But I sure would like to see you again, to find out how your recovery is going. And all that. I had such a fun time with you and Professor Klinkenbeard. You both are so interesting.
We are?
You sure are. We should get together today. I just bought a new dress, and I would just love to show it to you.
Show me? You mean without Professor Klinkenbeard being there?
Sure. I can pick you up in my convertible, and we can go for a ride, and you can get some clean, fresh air, and I can show you my new dress.
Sally, you are a very unusual young lady. That is not how the dating thing is supposed to work.
Okay then. You ask me to come and pick you up, so we can go for a ride, and I can show you my new dress.
Like I said, you are a very unusual young lady.
I am a nurse in the neurological department.
Ha! That you are. Well, that's a good enough explanation of you for me. I would love to go on the date with you, Sally. You can pick me up at my office. Do you know where it is?
I sure do. I will meet you out front of your building in 30 minutes. See you then, Woody. Bye.
Bye. Shakespeare would have no words for this. I thought you were going to show me your new dress.
This is my new dress. I bought a new one. That is just like the old one.
Oh, okay then. Your new dress looks very lovely. Are we going anywhere in particular? Or are we just going to cruise around in the sunshine?
No, we are going somewhere very fun and exciting.
Fun and exciting. I could sure use some of that. Are we going to the beach?
Almost. Hold on. We'll be there in a couple of minutes.
Oh, for Christ's sakes, are you bringing me back to this place?
Yes, I am.
Why would you want to do that?
Because I want you to help me break in.
What?
You're a private investigator. You know all about stuff like that. Besides, the professor said it was barely guarded. I want to see what's inside those buildings. I spent all yesterday evening devising my plan. First, I would hit the guard on the head, and Woody would run to the building and pick the lock. But since the guard had a helmet on his head, I decided that I would just ask to use his restroom and distract him while Woody ran over and picked the lock. Then, I would slip out the back door and join him. But Woody wasn't very impressed with my plan. He asked me, what were we going to do when the San Francisco police showed up? I told him we would run, of course. I thought it was a pretty good plan. Besides, I had to see what was inside those buildings. Hello, Mr. Security Guard Officer. Do you know what time it is?
Sally, stop! Officer, this is just a foolish young girl. No need to call for help. I'll get her. Well, this didn't go exactly as planned, did it?
Not exactly, but I still need you to pick the lock.
Okay, we'll get in and out quick, and maybe we can avoid the police that way. There's a lot of rust in here. This shouldn't be too hard.
I would just love to suck your brains out, sometimes. Romeo and Juliet.
What? Shakespeare didn't write that.
Right what? What are you talking about? I just said you needed to pick the lock. Oh, okay. I get it. You're just trying to be funny and lighten things up. Oh, I knew this was going to be fun.
Fun ain't the word for it. We're in. It looks empty to me.
What is all that stuff up there?
I don't know. Maybe we should go up and look. They do manage to keep it well lighted in here for some reason. Probably because no one, including the electric utility company, can turn it off.
I'll follow you, brave detective.
Watch your step. That looks like some form of electrical transformer up there. And 2 large liquid storage containers. This was definitely not a supply center. This is the control room. Shall we go in?
Sure thing. I'm right behind you.
A very nice view of the main floor from here. This is an observational post or lookout. And this is the main control panel over here.
Do you think they were creating a Frankenstein's monster in this place?
This control panel is a very curious contraption. It looks like it may have been designed back in World War II. Come look closer at this, Sally. See if you can make out the wording on this. Yikes! What are you?
I will soak your brains in lemonade and fry them in the hot yellow sun. Romeo and Juliet.
Shakespeare never wrote that. What are you? Where's Sally?
My bounty is as boundless as the sea. My love is deep, the more I give to thee.
You're under arrest. Romeo and Juliet.
What? That's not Shakespeare.
If you say so, buddy. Hey, Frank, I think we got a nutcase here.
Where's Sally?
You mean the cute strawberry blonde with the ponytail? We got her in the police vehicle right outside the door that you came through.
Is she all right?
Yes, she's fine. Look, buddy, don't put up a fight and we can avoid the handcuffing routine. You two are going downtown. Meanwhile, we'll both just walk out to our squad car in a quiet, peaceful manner. After you.
Are you okay, Sally?
Sure, I'm great. How about you?
I need to talk to that doctor next week.
What's wrong, Woody?
I need to get my glasses checked out.
Well, Woody, my boy, glad to see you up and about. You and your girlfriend there got off pretty easy on this one. Apparently the military and the Frisco's DA's office don't consider your little adventure as much of a crime, especially since the city plans to turn the entire area into a park or a shopping center in a few years. The Navy guard said that you went after the girl to try to stop her after she ran inside. He also said the lock on the door needed repair and wasn't functioning properly. So it looks like a misdemeanor trespassing charge for her. You need to get her Chevy out of impound, though. So what the hell's going on out there? You still trying to track down that Beckman kid?
Can't talk to you right now, Kolaski. I got a few questions of my own.
Who is that you were talking to, Woody?
That was Detective Kolaski. He gave me the Rudy Beckman case. I'm sure he wouldn't have done it if he knew how rich Daddy Beckman was.
Hey Woody, I was just telling Professor Clinkenbeard about our big adventure at the Navy docks.
Detective Jackson, you could use a few lessons from Sally here on the obvious advantages of a curious, adventurous mind.
Well, I think there's more to it than that. Something drove Sally here to want to go back to the Navy dock, and it was something more than seeking just a little adventure. Come on, Sally, what is it? I know there's something.
You're right, Woody. This is becoming a very weirdo story fast. Right after I got my nursing job at the hospital, I was sitting in the nurses' lounge and there was a nurse from the neurological department talking about taking a trip down to the Navy docks to look at some buildings. She was asking if anyone could give her a ride on her time off. But I didn't think much about it until yesterday, when Professor Clinkenbeard drove us down there. I couldn't believe the coincidence. So I just had to go back there again myself and see if I could figure out what made her so interested in it. She was a strange one, as it turned out. She got discharged under some very hush-hush circumstances. I was eventually assigned her job.
What was her name? What did she look like?
Her name was Caroline Jennings. She had dark hair and a slender build, very petite, and very quiet.
How old was she?
She must have been in her mid-20s. I am pretty sure about that.
Professor, I'm not sure why it's so critically important to you to get her description and age. I thought you were just looking for nurses who treated concussion patients. But the fact that Caroline once mentioned the Navy Dr. Sally is something that I gotta follow up on. That is a very strange bit of new knowledge I have to digest. So Sally, what is your last name again?
Jennings. Caroline Jennings.
I need to go back to San Francisco General and see if I can get employment or performance files on Caroline Jennings. I'll talk to you two later.
Boy, he sure is in a hurry.
Yes, he is. Come on, let's get your car out of impound, and you can drive me over to the City Hall of Records. I may be there most of the afternoon. So what are your plans for the rest of the day, Sally?
I don't know. I don't have to be back at the hospital for a couple of days. But I'll think of something.
Hey Johnson, I just came across something very interesting here. Two missing persons, Curtis Frankel and Paul Whelan, both reported missing at roughly the same time, both with the same last known address. A house on the corner of Baker and Prentice Streets. A quick check of tax records show that it is owned by Mr. Wendell Van Oppen, and it appears that Mr. Van Oppen's phone has been disconnected. I think we need to drive over there and talk to this Mr. Wendell Van Oppen. That sounds like what we need to do, all right.
I'm I'm sorry, Professor Clinkenbeard. Our personnel files on Caroline Jennings are not available for public viewing.
Can I talk with your hospital administrator?
You can, if you wish. But, I don't think it will help. Caroline Jennings' employment files, and all her personnel files, were sealed on a directive issued by the Department of Defense. Which is something I personally have never seen before.
May I help you?
We would like to talk to Mr. Wendell Van Oppen.
He's not here.
And who are you?
My name is Caroline Jennings.
Do you live here, Miss Jennings?
Yes, I do.
Do you know Mr. Van Oppen?
Yes, I do. I rent out rooms on his behalf.
Well then, you must be responsible for that sign out there. Well, Miss Jennings, we need to talk to you about some of your past renters. There seems to be people looking for them. May we come in?
Certainly.
Thank you. This will only take a few minutes of your time. Wow, nice house you got here.
It's a lovely house. Have a seat in the living room and make yourself at home. It's such a beautiful day. Have you ever grooved heavy behind anything except love?
What did you say? I think we got one of those weird hippie chicks.
Let's see. Caroline Jennings, age 24. Okay. Current city of residence, San Francisco. Current address, can't find it. Okay, now what else do we got? Well now, holy smokes, this is very interesting. What's in a name? Romeo and Juliet, Act 2, Scene 2.
Hello, Carolyn. My name is Sally Unfried, and I work at the hospital. Remember me? We met once in the lounge. I took over your job after you left. I'm here to warn you.